The wingman strategy. Why the most dangerous predators spend years learning to hunt. My wife came in this morning from what she calls a run walk. I've never fully understand what this even means because you're either running or you're not. I suppose she has found a way to multitask the whole thing, which honestly doesn't really make sense to me, but it tracks with everything else she does. But that's besides the point. She walks to the door and looks like every other day. I can't believe I've already been bitten by a mosquito this early in the season. Now, we're very early in April, and we barely turned the corner on a very, let's just say, dramatic winter, and she's already taken her first hit. Now, I will tell you something about me that I cannot fully explain. Mosquitoes simply just don't want me. They don't want anything to do with me. I can wear shorts and t-shirts on the porch in summer, can walk around, and I don't get bit. My wife will sit next to me, wrapped from ankle to wrist, bug spray everywhere, those plastic stupid things on her ankles and on her wrists, citronella candles so close enough that there's a fire hazard waiting. She still manages to get welts all over herself. This is something that I guess her scent apparently reads like a dinner menu for the entire insect population of our little town here in New Jersey. I think if she could figure out a way to jog with lit candles, she'd do it. Anyways, I told her what I needed. I think what you need is you ought to get a wingman. She looked at me sideways. She does that a lot. I explained that, there's a trend going around right now where people are clipping plastic dragonflies onto their hats as they walk or run or as they sit outside. Realistic ones, colored accurately, shaped at that kind of uncanny detail that makes you think that, hey, maybe that's a real dragonfly. The idea is simple. The dragonfly is a predator. Other insects know when they're in this animal kingdom, once you see one of those, you kind of don't want to get next to it because that's a pretty demonstrable point. You either get eaten or you fly away. Now, you'd think that this eco-friendly, chemical-free deterrent wouldn't work at all, but it does. It's really strange. Go look on Amazon, and you'll see dozens of these brands of the word wingman. You'll find all these people selling these plastic bugs that scare other bugs away from the person wearing it. Now, it's a business model that deserves a round of applause because I would have never thought about it. I don't think anybody would have ever thought about it. But here's my thought, and this is where my brain went because it always goes somewhere when I see stuff like this. I remember from high school in our science class that it's sort of something that's been in the back of my head for a long time, which tells you something about how remarkable the dragonfly actually is. Because most people think of this as something that they see in the sky because that's the only time when you really see a dragonfly. But really, their life starts in the water, and it can spend up to 5 years in the water, submerged, living in ponds and brackish water, quiet places that nobody pays attention to. Nobody even knows they're down there. But they're down there hunting mosquito larvae, small tadpoles, whatever it can find. And it grows to shed its skin up to 12 times as through its lifespan, even in the water. Emergence slightly a little bit different when it comes up, when it changes in metamorphosis into a true dragonfly. Now, that one day when it climbs out of the water and flies away, the whole aerial phase only lasts a few months. But everybody associates dragonflies with that time period, right? It's the precision of these, let's just call them predator hunters. That's why nobody wants to be near them. As in, if you're a bug, you're not wanting to be near a dragonfly because they have honed their skills to be basically deadly killers. As soon as that dragon takes flight, it's no beginner. It is literally going to be eating everything in sight. This is the phase where you think you can actually start to parallel some of these thoughts, right? If you look at business and you think about it, kind of how I've already lived through this entire phase. I've lived through a phase of one full dragonfly lifespan in business. I know what it feels like to be in the water. I know what it feels like to be hunting around, to be shedding my shelf every single couple of years, to find myself now being able to climb and eventually get out of the water and fly and scale, right? And that chapter I'm generally proud of. I've done it. I've been there. I've actually conquered what most agencies want to do, what digital agencies that is. They want to go out of the water. They want to fly and they want to be sold and they want to cash in. That's really interesting. But the honest truth now, and I look back at this and I go, I've done that. I'm starting anew. I'm in the pond again. I'm basically wet again. I'm starting all over. It's only been about a year and a half really since I've started this new business, but I understand what's happening, which is I'm slowly getting used to the things that need to have patience. The cycle now I'm in is a very, very patience required cycle. It feels heavier the second time around because I already know too much. I already know where I'm going. I already know how to get out of the pond. But, I don't know exactly how it's going to shape up. In fact, you have to be understandable that I've already tasted this flight, and yet here I am back in the water, still hunting, still learning, still waiting. So waiting for that internal signal. But when I hear it, when it arrives, the moments that I've been waiting for to build quietly, as I've been doing for the last year and a half, probably have another couple of years in front of me, I will start to scale again. I will start to lift. I will decide to go there when I'm ready. I don't know exactly what I'm becoming yet. I don't know what color I'm going to be as a dragonfly. That sounds so strange, right? But if you say it out loud and you're honest, I know my skills and my instincts, and I know the terrain. What I haven't yet found is the crystallizing moment where the destination becomes unmistakable. That see the light feeling where everything scattered suddenly organizes itself into a direction you cannot unsee and you cannot walk back from the pond, I know it's coming. Because that's always what happens when you stay in the water and keep doing the work without demanding timeline from process. And that's the key. The dragonfly doesn't decide when it wants to fly. It just becomes ready one day. Now, that's not without much fanfare, or it doesn't really matter. So at some point, it just says, you know what? I'm going up. I see what's happening. Business doesn't reward impatience. It rewards preparation, done quietly, without an audience. And most people don't want to talk about this. They don't want to talk about anything except for the flight, right? When the scale, the wingspan, the scale, the exit, the early version of the story that was basically spent underwater doesn't really get told. The shedding of the skin, learning to hunt, the conditions that gave nothing back. If you're in that phase right now and it feels slow for you, or you're uncertain, you're still becoming something that you cannot name yet. That's what really is coming. You're not behind, you're just still in the water. Stay there. Do the work. The wings always come after what phase you're going to be coming into next. So think about it. Are you in the phase of being in the pond, of going up, or are you flying right now?